So another channel in the business is we then do services, and our services include maintaining client vehicles, painting them, modifying them, upgrading them. We've got one vehicle in the back that we've pulled the Ford out. The Ford was giving the client a lot of problems. And I know the Ford guys won't like this. We put a Chevy in there and you'll have a trouble-free ride going forward. So we do conversions, we do modifications, we do interiors, we do paint. We tackle a few builds as well for clients. Our workshop is pretty busy managing our own fleet of 20, so we are quite selective with what work we take on. And typically we hold a lot of work for our winter period. When it goes a little bit quieter, we're able to push more customer cars out then. And we have a couple of build projects that we're also busy with for clients. And we'll focus on finishing them off in winter. And doing our own maintenance on our own fleet as well during that window. People are nervous when you say it's a Jag suspension. They think there's no parts for the Jag diffs and Jag bearings and Jag brakes, but they're readily available. There's special importers that bring them in, and we link up with all of these guys. We've never yet had a problem with accessing parts. We also are, I would like to say, an analog business when it comes to our vehicles. We keep as little electronics on the cars as possible. We find that the cars with EFI or fuel injection tend to be more tricky when something goes wrong, because you need a tuner, you need a computer, you need a hold, you need software, which is not always available, and finding a computer box is not always easy. So the analog cars are carburetor, spark plugs, leads, electronic dizzy, and a turbo 350 or 400 gearbox. All of those parts are freely available. We have enough V8 specialist shops in Cape Town as well as in South Africa, and we deal with all of them. We have our main suppliers. They stock the parts we need. They know our fleet. So I've never yet not been able to repair a car quickly. We also keep spare engines, spare gearboxes, spare diffs. When something goes wrong, our mode of repair is we pull it, we replace it, then we fix it. So literally within 24 hours, engine out, engine in, start up, off the car goes out again. Or the gearbox, 3 hours out, back in, and the car works, and then the gearbox can go for a service or an overhaul, whatever's needed. So we've learned that it's easier just to pull and replace as opposed to putting the car up in the lift and spending days waiting for parts, pulling it, etc. So we have typically 5-6 engines, 10 gearboxes, spare diffs. So we have a lot of support parts, and it's not as expensive to repair these things. It's just easier for me to pull it, do the heads, do the gasket. When we do something, we do everything, and the motor's fresh. We've had vehicles in the fleet since acquired new in 2005, backdrafts with Vortec motors. The motors have never been opened. When the gearboxes have been overhauled maybe 3 times in the life cycle, they've proven to be incredibly reliable. Yeah. Other than brakes and shocks and your normal preventative maintenance regime, we replace rads every 2 years. Aluminium rads go in. Even if the rad looks good, I pull it in. It's far cheaper for me to replace a radiator than for a car to get stuck with a water leak. So we just put new hoses, new radiator, and that becomes part of our preventative maintenance routine. So we do sales as well. We procure vehicles and we sell them on. We get a lot of consignment sales. We've had customers who literally are leaving the country, emigrating. They haven't sold their car yet. They pull in here the one day, drop the keys, drop the papers, and off they go, and they say, there's my bank details, sell it for me, there's a commission, and we do that for them. We've built up a good reputation in terms of being trustworthy, as well as our ethics. You know, we are your friendly family neighborhood garage when it comes to Cobra owners. We try and help the guys. We share a lot of information. It's more important for me to keep the cars on the road. Subsequently, sales have gone extremely well. We have an export permit as well. We've exported Cobras and Americana, all sorts of vehicles to Australia, Europe. A lot of cars have gone to Europe. We're looking at a deal in Spain at the moment for a new startup, a company wanting to start a rental business in Spain. So we're looking at assisting them. Assist them with the business model as well as what they need to do in terms of setup. We've had an incredibly successful year with exports. We've had a very good year with local sales as well. Typically customers call me, they're wanting to buy a car. I say, look, bring it around here. If it's convenient, we go through it. We will advise them what they should be paying. What a lot of people don't know is you get cars that are built in factories and cars that were built privately, and you get backyard cars. The privately built cars are not necessarily bad, but the backyard cars could potentially be bad because guys have cut corners, they put cheap wheels and cheap parts and haven't assembled it correctly. So when you're buying a car that was built by an amateur, you potentially could be buying a bad car. And fixing it up is just not worth it because you've got to take everything off and re-put it back together, make sure the right components have been used. We refer business to our main fabricators, either Superformance or Backdraft, as well as Marsh Roadsters, that is a startup as well. We work very closely with Marsh Roadsters as well, and that is something that in the future will become, I think, a very exciting part of the Cobra community. So Joe, next steps for Cape Cobra Hire. Quite a lot actually. As I said initially, there's expansion, there's diversification. Right now, part of our expansion plan is satellite destinations, booking destinations, more coffee shop setup. We're busy with our coffee shop here right now. We're looking at 1 or 2 more coffee shop destinations with a Cobra, a little coffee shop, and we can do bookings as well. The Cobra is the attraction, obviously. People see the signage, they walk in, they can do reservations and bookings, and we can supply from our main depot. Also looking at quite an interesting offer for selling another experience to our existing clients that walk in here. We're busy putting a fleet together of an interesting vehicle. Can't divulge just what it is just yet, obviously, but we will be doing another adventure offering. Cape Cobra Hire for me it's not just about the Cobras. For me, the Cobras have always been the vehicle of choice for people, for me to sell to people to experience Cape Town. You know, Cape Town, I love Cape Town. I love South Africa. I think we have an incredible offering, and this just becomes another way to really see what the mother city has to offer. We work with a lot of the other tour providers, as well as other adventure offerings out there, the motorcycle guys, the Harleys or the sidecar adventures, or the boat trip guys. We often do bundled trips as well, where you can take a Cobra, go on a boat trip, and then get in a Harley or a sidecar and complete your trip. And a lot of our destination management companies, we work closely with them, bespoking an experience for their customers as well. There's a lot happening, a lot of exciting things happening. Still in love with the business, yeah.